If someone in your life makes you feel crazy for having emotions, that's not a personality clash. That's a tactic. Most people picture a narcissist as someone obviously cruel. Someone cold. Someone you'd spot from a mile away. But that's not how it actually works. The most dangerous narcissists are the ones who seem, on the surface, like the most loving person you've ever met. The most attentive. The most passionate. Because what they're doing isn't love. It's a system. And once you understand the 7 moves in that system, you cannot unsee them. Stay with me through all 7, because number 6 is the one that does the most long-term damage, and almost nobody recognizes it while it's happening. Tactic 1. Gaslighting. The first tactic is gaslighting. And it doesn't look like what you think. It doesn't start with, "You're crazy." It starts with, "That's not what I said." Or, "You're too sensitive." Or, "Why do you always make everything a problem?" Over time, repeated exposure to someone questioning your memory, your perception, your emotional responses, it rewires how you trust yourself. You stop bringing things up, not because they didn't happen, but because you've started to believe your version of reality might be wrong. That is the goal. A person who doesn't trust their own instincts is a person who's easy to control. Tactic 2. Love bombing. Before the gaslighting starts, there's almost always love bombing. Texts all day, every day. Grand gestures. "I've never felt this way about anyone." Plans for the future within weeks of meeting. An intensity that feels electric. It feels like finally being seen. But what's actually happening is you're being conditioned. The narcissist is building a version of themselves in your mind, one so compelling that when they inevitably shift, you'll spend months trying to get that person back. The love bombing phase becomes the baseline you're always chasing. Tactic 3. The silent treatment. When a narcissist wants to punish you without looking like the bad guy, they go quiet. No response to your messages. A cold shoulder where warmth used to be. And because you've been conditioned to crave their approval, the silence becomes unbearable. You end up apologizing for things you didn't do, just to end the silence. You become easier to manage. And they've never had to raise their voice. Research shows that being deliberately ignored activates the same neural pathways as physical pain. They know exactly what they're doing. Tactic 4. Triangulation. Triangulation is when a narcissist introduces a third party to create insecurity. It might be an ex they mention constantly. A coworker who really gets them. A friend who would never react this way. The goal is to keep you in a state of low-level competition. If you feel like you have to earn their attention, you're less likely to question their behavior. You become focused on being better, not on being treated well. Tactic 5. Moving the goalposts. This one is subtle and exhausting. You do the thing they asked. It's still not right. You fix what they pointed out. Now there's a new problem. You can't win, because the rules keep changing. This isn't disorganization. It's deliberate. A person who is always falling short is a person who is always trying to do better, always a little off balance, always just grateful enough when approval finally comes. Tactic 6. Isolation. This is the one I mentioned. The one that does the most long-term damage. It rarely happens all at once. It's a slow drift. Your friend group starts feeling like a burden. Family dinners become a source of conflict. It's just easier to stay home. And without your outside relationships, 2 things happen. You have no one to reflect back what's really going on. And the narcissist becomes your entire world, which is exactly the position they want to be in. Isolation isn't always locks on the door. Sometimes it's just a series of subtle comments until you've quietly let everyone else go. Tactic 7. Future faking. The last one is future faking, making promises about a future they have no intention of delivering. We'll move in together. I'll change. Things will be different after this stressful period. The relationship you want is always just around the corner. These promises aren't made in good faith. They're made to reset the clock, to give you just enough hope to stay when you're closest to leaving. If you recognize these patterns, in a relationship you're in, one you've left, or one you watch someone else go through, I want you to know that recognition is the first step out. You can't logic your way out of a system you don't know you're in. But once you see it clearly, the whole thing loses its power. If this one hit close to home, there's a link in the description to a resource that's helped a lot of people process exactly this kind of relationship. Comment the word "seen" below if any of these made you stop and think. It helps this video reach people who need it, and I read every comment. And if you want to understand the psychology behind why smart, self-aware people still fall for this, that's the next video. See you there.